Well, hello there. Once again, it's a short talk in the park with an old guy. That's me. I got off work early today. It was about 11 o'clock when I walked out of the shop. I had one simple little call today, and it was a real weirdo. So we went out to Doniana, which is north of town, and there's a property out there that's looking to be demolished. Boy, is it! It's already halfway fallen down, and it's been vandalized and stuff. And you can see where homeless people have slept there and stuff. Anyway, it just needs to go. And so they called the company and asked there's a guy, a real estate developer in California, who's gotten a hold of this property, I guess, and he wants to take it to the ground, which sounds like a good idea to me. But he said the county won't allow that unless the electrician comes in, plumber comes in, and certifies that all the gases and the waters are capped off. It's like, I thought, well, that's a stupid idea. Why would anyone do that? What you want to do, you meathead, is you want to go back to the meter, shut it off, disconnect the supply on gas and water. Then bring in your bulldozer. I don't care. And so anyway, while I was there, I snapped a photo of the, I guess it's called a mast or whatever. It's a straight pole that goes up, got a kind of a lookout thing like this, and big old fat bob wires coming out of there. That's where the power did come in from the utility from El Paso Electric, but it ain't connected no more. The well house is completely empty. I mean, there's not even a scrap of pipe in there. You ain't getting any water out of that well. So the water's down, the gas is down. We even proved there's a yard line across the yard from the wall out front to the house. We popped that apart and we blew it end to end, and it proves out. So there's no fuel out there. No fuel, no water, no electric. Bring in your bulldozer. And I said the only thing that could be, and this may get involved with the septic tank guy, if there's a septic system out there, it may need to be, we may have to get into it, open the thing up, jackhammer the top down, and fill it up with dirt. Probably have to have it pumped first, because you just can't fill up an old septic with all that lovely brown stuff. Pouring dirt on top, you got to get it pumped out first. Anyhow, that's kind of what we did. I went out, snapped some photos and whatnot, and they really didn't have anything else for me to do, so I thought, I know what I'm going to do today. Eat a fish sandwich. What? I don't know why. Fish sandwich just seemed real good to me. So I'm here at the park across the street from where I live. Stopped on the way, and I had me a fish sandwich and fries and a Corona. Now, I didn't get the beer at the same place. Here in New Mexico, there's a place called Blake's. I'm going to push this a little further away. I feel like I'm crowding you. There's a place called Blake's that's it's a burger place, and they really kind of made their name up in the Bernalillo County area, which is kind of greater Albuquerque, because like a third of the state lives there in that county, I think. But at any rate, it's a lot less dense populated down here, so there's only a couple of Blake's down here, but they make pretty good burgers. I used to eat those Blake's burgers quite a bit, but I don't know, I just kind of stopped. And anyway, I heard that they served a fish sandwich. Well, turns out it's pretty good. It wasn't great, wasn't fantastic. What do you expect? It's fast food. But that was kind of what I was interested in. They make a pretty decent French fry over there, too, if you need to know. If you're passing through New Mexico, try Blake's fries. Probably worth your time. If you like fries, I mean. And so I was watching some videos this morning, and I just kind of wanted to comment some more on this. I did a little riff the other day on... I hope I can remember how I did this. Urban internationalists, I guess urban globalist pagans. Matt Walsh has a real good vid out, and I think he maybe should go watch it. There's another guy named Mark Levin, who used to have a radio talk show years ago on AM radio. I used to listen to him some. And anyway, he moved out of the AM market. He's working with Blaze TV nowadays. And he's been with them probably years now. Anyway, Mark, I think it was the one who came up with the idea of calling MSNBC. He'd call it MSLSD because they're frankly hallucinating. So anyway, on this MSLSD thing, and I don't even know why anybody cares about what they have to say anymore, because, I mean, them and CNN, if they're hanging in there at all, they're barely hanging in there. But here's the problem, see. Remember the old Wi-Fi formula that here's the biggest problem you're going to be facing in 2024, 2025 is misinformation and disinformation. Remember that? Well, file that information, because What it's working out to is that the most dangerous people on the planet, oh, far and away, far worse than the Hells Angels, far worse than the KKK, far worse than MS-13, far worse than the CCP, white, rural Christian nationalists. Oh, and they're poor, urban poor. They're the most dangerous ones you can come up with, really. I call them the heart and soul of America. I call them the ones who are the backbone of making sure that things actually happen on time. You gutless pukes. Anyway, they got a couple of these sociologist guys, or one of them's just a hack of some ilk. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're inclined toward each other. You know what I mean? Ugh. Anyway, all that left-wing garbage coming out of their mouth and being repeated on MSLSD, it's just downright hateful in what it is. It's just vile, vicious nonsense. Because you know what's wrong with people like you and me, us white folk, Christian nationalists, urban, rural. Sorry, I don't qualify as rural, but I'm close enough, I guess. You know what the big problem is? We believe conspiracy theories. Hey, newsflash, Twinkie. Have you realized lately that Robert Kennedy Jr. is coming out saying, yes, it was the CIA who was involved in the deaths of both his father and his Uncle John? This is out now. Have you been aware that it is proven? The MSLSD, are you aware that it is proven that the FBI had hundreds of agents involved in the so-called January 6th incident? And by the way, when are they going to release those hostages who've been taken? What did they do wrong anyway? They walked around in the building and snapped a couple of photos. And the narrative emerging out there is that as the election season heats up, the most dangerous group in America, the people who back Trump, the MAGA lovers, the people who actually believe in Jesus and stuff. And so it's just becoming really accentuated, and such to the point that I'm beginning to think this is a kind of a telling sign, it seems to me, that really the independent creators, there's people like Russell Brand out there, and I guess Dr. Turley and Mark Dice, and there's many others, J.P. Sears, a lot of good, I guess you call them freedom fighters, and just basically sane people. A lot of them are Christian too, or at least sympathetic to the Christian view. And these guys are now the dangerous pundits. Oh, we must silence these people. Why? Because they're outperforming MSLSD every day of the week. Independent creators are blowing the doors off of corporate media. People are done with the bullshit coming out of corporate America. They're just done with the lies, and they know they're being lied to. And so we, urban, rural, Christian, nationalists, white, oh, and by the way, the worst of all, white, that's bad enough, but white male, oh, come on. This person right over here may not even qualify as a human being, according to this new way of thinking. And so anyway, the thing that triggers these folks is these two so-called authors, is that they believe conspiracies, like, say, for instance, they have issues with the COVID narrative, as was told to them over and over, proven to be lies. MSLSD, have you heard it? That, in fact, it really was in a lab in China, man-made, man-designed. Did you hear that part? That part's proven, and it's been proven for years. Get with the program, man. So the reason that the censorship is increasing is because these goons realize nobody's listening to them. Now, I don't think they're listening to me. They're listening to the pros. You know, there's real people out there. Vivek Ramaswamy, that guy, he knows what to say. But the point is that I just was thinking about this today. Is that the most dangerous people in the world, those are the ones you're going to single out as the troublemakers, as really the kind of the burr under the saddle of society, ain't it? And you know what they all have in common? Because let's face it, I know brown Christians, I know black Christians, I know Native American Christians, and all of them Christians, if they're Christian folk, they all basically agree on a lot of good things. Yeah, of course we got our differences. We're not a homogenous bunch, like all at lockstep, like some people are. But the truth of the matter is that we Christian folks believe that we deserve to be told the truth, and we demand to be told the truth. And when we're being told lies, we're not as simple and childish as all that we simply believe your lies. No. We know you're lying, and we say so. And they can't handle that because it's all built upon here we go again with the artificial world, right? In other words, you have a kind of an idea where you're going to end up with an artificial universe, an artificial world that's just the same as the real world. If only the real world wouldn't keep crashing in so rudely. Corona's pretty good beer. But for lunch, I'm not even sure I'm going to finish that thing. I'm just take it across the street and put it in the fridge. But anyway, the moral of the story being, these conspiracies are strangely proving true, aren't they? Over and over again. And the conspiracy nuts, the tinfoil wearing hat people, overall they've been right. Yeah, there's been a few errors, and don't start on me with flat earthers. I don't want to go there. I've never understood what people understand to be so important about that idea, but never mind that. The situation is that in our world, everything kind of works out to what people are actually interested in. Is they want someone who's going to speak honestly with them, who's going to tell them the truth. Someone like Katie Hopkins, or someone like Dr. Truly, someone that just speaks English and says it like it is, and just leave all the spin and crap and garbage out of it. And the major media is incapable of doing that because everything in their line of work hinges upon being the, shall we say, the spokesman for the uniparty. We have Democrat and Republicans supposedly on opposite sides of the aisle. I can't tell the difference between them most of the time. But, so I'm not sold out on Republican. How long did we put up with Mitch McConnell and his? How many more of them Mitches are there anyway? And the thing is that nobody's perfect, and I'm not asking anybody to be perfect. But the idea that you're going to try to shut down it'd be like if I said, let's say, Cubans who happen to be left-handed and live in a city starting with a letter R. Those are the worst people in the world. What are you talking about? You can't divide people up like that and find out the worst and the best. The worst and the best comes out in other ways. And one of the ways it comes out, by the way, is whether you can tell the truth or not. The best folks tell the truth. The worst folks are just damn liars. That ain't so hard to figure out. But in this modern world, it's very confusing indeed. Why? Because we got folks they're not even sure whether they're a man or a woman. You got professors and genius types, college educated, who when they're given the question, can you define a woman? They won't go there. And the net result, ladies, what has the net result of this all leftoid, Marxist garbage, worldling, paganism, internationalist crap been for you, ladies? They took a crap on you. Remember the women's movement, the feminist movements? They wanted equality. They wanted to be treated the same. They wanted to be rewarded for their work in wage dollar hours the same as men, and all kinds of stuff. That was going on. It's been going on for decades. The net result of this, however, of this so-called enlightened world that we're now waltzing around in, is that you have women's sports that are being dominated by men who happen to identify, temporarily at least, as a woman. That passes for truth. Well, guess what, ladies? Your rights have just been shot down. You no longer even have a right to compete among yourselves, woman to woman. Let's say you talk about swimming. Let's talk, I don't care, boxing, weightlifting, karate, whatever it is you're involved with. If it just ain't fair, by and large, for men and women to compete in the same sports, especially if there are not any weight limits. A lot of lady athletes might not even exceed 130 pounds, 140 pounds. A male athlete might exceed 230, easy. That's got to count somewhere in a head-to-head contest, don't you think? 100-pound advantage. And anyway, the entire premise of the thing is insane. But anyway, I do like Mark Levin's moniker MSLSD, and the Matt Walsh video. It's an interview, ostensibly, or at least part of it, with a couple of these authors, and these guys are just out there, man. And the thing that struck me as I was watching the thing is I just thought, this kind of cruelty, this kind of wickedness is based upon lies, and that's what's coming. You think you're the bad guy now, wait around 6 months or 10 months. You're going to find out that you're the really bad guy or a bad girl because you're a Christian. And forget about the white part. In fact, I'm not even a Christian nationalist, not really. I mean, I love the United States, and it's my home country, but it's not my true home. My true home is across the way. The great King has an inheritance for his people. Our true home is with him. And that's in a world where things make sense, where you aren't surrounded by liars and damn fools. So there's a land across the River Jordan, so to speak. And so our true home is with him, and we dwell securely in him. But while we're here, we are to be good citizens of the nation. We're to be good stewards, the resources, and and to uphold the laws, and to abide by civil decency, and treat each other well in the public place, and all kinds of things. But what it works out to is that the only group in the world who can't seem to get around to doing that, according to the MSLSD, is the people who specialize in loving Jesus. Yeah, they're the worst. They're the worst. They gotta go. It's coming, folks. So you be prepared. And don't worry. He saw this coming before they did, and he's got a good end for it for all of us, for you and you and you and even me. We're coming out of this on the right side because we're going into it on his side. And he wins because he's just, he's true, he's right, and he's good. And his deeds and his words cohere with what's real. It's not that phony reality, it's the real reality, the one he made, and that makes all the difference. King of the Jews, yeah, but king of reality too. And as such, he makes his people glad because he cares for them as they trust in him and in his way and in his word. So go and flourish today. Find a place to sit down and have a fish sandwich in the sunshine, and who knows, I might even take a walk later. I kind of meant to take a walk yesterday, and I was just frankly lazy. I had so much more time, much more enjoyment just laying down and just I'm going to goof off, laying down in the sun, and kind of felt good. I just like to relax sometimes. Anyhow, this is enough for a Monday, and you keep on keeping on. Don't let them get you down. He wins, and in you will win too, because once he enters your life, it's forever. Amen. Have a good day.